If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mike Society.
This is John.
This is Dan.
And this is Dead Mike Society.
So what's going on, John?
So I read this article, okay, and Dolph Lundgren, who was in Rocky IV, he was the Russian, and he was also in Expendables with Sylvester Stallone. His wife charges him a cheating fee of $60,000 a month so he can have affairs in peace.
Playa.
Is she cool or is that weird?
I mean, she sounds cool, but it's a little weird. Like, I'm saying any woman who's going to give you a pass, even though it costs $60,000 a month for that pass, is pretty cool considering that he's like, look, and he's being honest. He's going like, look, honey, you don't do it for me anymore, right? I need something different. And a lot of men can't do that. They don't have the guts to tell their woman that, you know what? You lost it. It's over. Over and out. So I give him kudos, even though he's writing that big check every month. But for him, that's like nothing. You know what I mean? When you have that much money, that's pennies.
I know, it is penny. Now, I wonder how they arrived at that specific number. Like, do you think it was a negotiation? Like, she went 100, he went 25, and they arrived at 60? Or was it just like I mean, okay, the article doesn't go into, obviously, the details of how they arrived at that. But, like, would you negotiate with something like this? Or would you just be like, if she says yes to any number, I'm just going to start throwing numbers out, and whatever sticks will work for me?
I got a vision of how it went down, actually.
Okay.
It was like this. I caught you cheating. I'm going to divorce you. And you're worth $600 million, let's say. I'll get half. $300 million. Do you want that? Do you want that? And he was like, wait, I'll pay you. Don't trip. Hey, we don't have to split.
Right.
So he's going, all right, what can I give you? And she was probably like, you know, give me $1 million every month. And he was like, well, how about 60? And then she was like, all right, 60, maybe for the first year. You know, like,
and then it goes from there.
Right. I'm just saying there was something like that because she for sure had him by the balls. She was pretty like, I'll get you for half, because my experience with women, when it gets to that, like, that field of, like, lust and anger, there's no gloves. I mean, it's just barehanded boxing, dude. They're just like, what? You know? So I bet you he got caught. For sure, he didn't go to her, like, prematurely, like, hey, honey, I've been thinking about other women. Do you think we can make a deal? Like, you know, I don't think that happened at all. 100% didn't happen.
Right.
He got caught slipping.
So you may notice that we're wearing some amazing shirts, okay? They're Dead Mike Society shirts. I'm wearing the alien, and you are?
I'm wearing us, like the cartoon us. The, like, cartoon version. Like, if you were going to be in the Dead Mike Society cartoon war, you would want John, the, you know, Marine, and you'd want Danny, just the badass host. And together it makes the Dead Mike Society, I don't know, cartoon version.
Yeah. So you can get these at thedeadmikesociety.com, and you can also log into our fan club and get updates and join the community at thedeadmikesociety.com. Now, I have a question. Is having merch, having sponsors, are these things antithetical to having, like, an entertainment show? Like YouTube will throw on ads and sometimes you just skip them, and like, what's our stance when it comes to supporting the show, having lights, having mics, having cameras? Like these things cost money, but at the same time we want to make sure that people are entertained and are not having their time wasted. So where are we when it comes to that? Like, what's our honest, like, take?
I mean, I think that we're kind of new to YouTube. I mean, we've been doing this show for a while on Spotify. It was a weekly show. Now we're daily on YouTube, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. So I think now just enjoy the show. We're not at our peak yet. I think we're still developing. Like, sure, we got our shirts, we got our studio, but I still think that we're growing as a day-to-day talk show host. I think we're still developing. So I'm not expecting too much yet out of the community. I mean, like I said, if you want to buy a coffee mug or do that, that's great. That's going to go to help the show. But if not, we're still going to do the show, and we're still going to get through this first season at least and see where we're at. Yeah. But I think as we develop and we start to get more sponsors and more endorsements, I know we have a few emails to look through of some possible product sponsors that may be coming up on the show in the near future. We'll go from there and see where the society takes us. I mean, I don't want to be a traditional sellout where we're like every day like, hey, it's Coca-Cola, like, you know, and every line is like intertwined with the product. I want to still keep it real, like real talk between John and I. But at a certain point, we do have to sell out a little bit because
is it selling out? Because again, like you said, you know, the community, you know, has us producing this show like on Monday through Thursday. Is it a sellout, or is it just doing what's necessary to provide a service to the community? Like how do we look at that? Like, I'll give you my answer. So like, I don't view it as being a sellout. Like, I think that like in life, okay, in 2026, where this show is being recorded, money is necessary to grease the wheels of life. It's just the way it is. Like, if you believe that you can do stuff for free and everything is going to be like pro bono and people should just give you everything, I don't think that that's realistic. You know?
So do we need to do like a Kickstarter campaign and put out our PayPal and start getting, you know, donations flying in?
Well, you know, I don't think so, because I think we're honest with the community and we let them know our needs. Like if we had cancer, right? If we had, you know, I'm not sure like what the show would take us, but like I'm not saying that we wouldn't do something like that, but I think we would be very like transparent about the needs. And I think that actually business that's done honestly and that's done with integrity will like produce more than like a sellout. So I don't like, my answer is I don't think it's selling out. But do you think it's selling out?
I mean, it's a little bit selling out to me just because, like, for example, I'll just tell the audience. So we have a product. It's an energy product. And they sent me a whole proposal. I haven't read every part of it, but the gist is that John and I would receive like this big tub of this energy product, and we would display it on our show for the viewers to see, and we would take it's all energy, it's all natural ingredients, and then we would talk about it, and then we would send them that episode link, and then they would pay us. So that's like one thing that we have on the table for an actual product placement in our show, just because they like our channel, they like our TikTok, they like our Instagram, they like our Twitch. Like I'm saying, they looked through all of our social media and they reached out to me. So John and I have to discuss that. I mean, I'll ask the fans, I mean, the listeners of the show, would that be weird if we had energy placement? Now, maybe they're watching this and they're going to rescind the offer because I talked about it, but I don't know how it works.
So. No, because I think that like who we are is that we do talk about issues, we talk about articles, but we also talk about like how we are growing as a channel, because you know, some people out there, all right, like not everyone, but some people might be interested in producing their own show. And so I think that like our journey is interesting to some people, and I think that the people who don't want to start a channel are also kind of interested in our experience in running a YouTube channel, because that is how like media is being distributed in this day and age. So I don't think it's weird at all.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny too? I actually had gotten an email from another sponsor who they make gaming chairs, and they'd send me an email. I got last night about 2 a.m. that just said like, would we be interested in possibly exclusively using their gaming chairs on our show? And I was like, maybe, but I got to like now look at these chairs. I mean, how big are they, and then we have to do like measurements. But it's just funny that once one reaches out, others start reaching out. So I'm not sure if there's like a syndicate of sponsors who go through YouTube channels and then start reaching out. But I'll be honest, I am flattered so far. I'm not sure like if in the end it's going to be like, we're just kidding, we're Somalian pirates, like ha 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 ha. Because I mean, I'm not buying anything. I mean, I've already made that very clear. Like, I'm not paying for anything out of my pocket. So if they want to send me something, that's fine. You know, I've already explained that. And as it is, there is no cost. They send us the energy stuff. But the gaming chairs, I don't know. Can you really just send someone a gaming chair and they don't pay anything? I'm not sure.
Now, would we be honest and say, hey, this is the worst tasting energy drink of all time, this is the most uncomfortable chair, or will we be like, wow, this is great, like, I'm so energetic and I don't have any crashes?
We're all
like,
sweating. Like,
right. Like, are we the type of channel who's going to be like a super sponsor, or are we going to be honest and have integrity and say like, hey, I mean, like, I'll give you my answer. Like, my answer is, I would want to vet anything that we present to our audience. That would be my answer. But like, we work as a team, and I think that what works about our like friendship, our but what would you call brothers-in-law? Like, are we brothers? Is that what you call it?
we're brothers.
We're brothers. All right.
Yeah.
So what works in a brother relationship is the fact that like not everyone is exactly the same. Like, it's okay, in my opinion, to have a different opinion. You know, for you to have one view, for me to have another view, and for us to discuss it. So like, that's my answer. But like how do you feel about promoting products on the show? Like, would you promote something and just try to be the best promoter that you could be? Like, that's one way to do it, right?
Right. I wouldn't. I mean, for me, I just keep it real 100. So if I had that energy drink and that thing was like straight trash, I would be like, yo, this is trash. And guess what? They wouldn't be on the show anymore. I mean, I'm assuming that when they tell me that they have the best product of all time, it is the best product of all time. Like, I would need to actually see that, taste it, and all the other things. It would have to be texture, taste, smell. So, like, if any of those are funky or off, it's done for a drink. Like, straight up. If it smells weird, it's done. If it has a weird texture, it's done. And if it tastes weird, it's done. Yeah. So I would let the audience know on that. And then also the feeling, like me, I am sensitive to caffeine. It has 120 milligrams of caffeine in it, which they say is equivalent to a cup of coffee. I can do a cup of coffee, but I can't really do like a bunch of espresso and stuff. So if it made me like super jittery or whatnot, I would give that opinion. But again, I'm more sensitive to caffeine. So I would want John or like someone else in my family, since they're all like very big coffee drinkers, to give me the like real coffee drinker point of view, because it just might not be for me, because I'm not a big energy drink caffeine person. Right.
And I know that, and again, we're not being sponsored by them yet, but I'm just, okay, so the reason why I'm bringing this up, like, it's very weird in one perspective, but another perspective is, like, we're building a community, and we want people to understand, like, where we are. We want the journey to go with us, and then we'll get into some other questions and things like that. But, like, I think that I also would want to keep it real 100. You know?
Absolutely. Like, if we sat in that gaming chair and it was bunk, like it was all hurting our backs, and again, we're imagining right now, but you know what? John and I are excited about it. I mean, it's not every day that we've had this channel on YouTube for 29 days. In 29 days, we've hit over 5,000 views. And then we've already hit 2 product sponsor placements. So I'm just saying, it's not like that. I'm sure there's other people who are like, ha, 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 ha. Like, we've done 9 million and we have 27 products, kid. So I'm not saying that that's like we're on some level. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that, like, for us, that's cool, because we came off of Spotify. We did a show for about 3 years, and it was mostly a weekly show.
Yeah. And
it's like, we had a couple here and there things that were cool, but we didn't really get this kind of excitement that we are getting from our daily show. Right. So that's why we're bringing it to the audience, and we're talking about it for most of this episode.
Right. So, but you know, it was such a. I agree with you. Like the word you used was flattered. Like when I saw the email, I was very flattered. I was like, wow, that really means a lot to me, that someone would consider sponsoring us. So, anyways,
Yeah.
all right. So
And we might do it if you're watching today. We're still figuring it out. We're gonna be in touch. Our people's gonna call your people or whatever.
Right.
Whatever, we'll do lunch.
So since we're talking about our show, I just want to give a brief kudos to Dan for producing this show. I think that like his growth in the appearance of the show, the editing of the show, the opening song, the shirts, like all of that, I just want to give you like a real big kudos because
Thank you.
like I think that you're doing an excellent job, and I just wanted to say that on camera.
Well, thank you very much, John. I appreciate that you're seeing all the blood, sweat, and tears into actually the vision of like when we sat down and we talked about this. I'm glad that you're seeing the vision and us making the best of the situation we have too. Like being able to pivot, like even in the studio design and with the camera and with the mics and dealing with the malfunctions and all the other things that happen.
Right.
But I think we're on a trajectory that this show is going to be badass. I mean, if it's not already badass, I'm saying this thing is going to catch some real fire real soon. So you're in it from the beginning, and just imagine when we are in 250 episodes. Just imagine the community you're in and the people who are on the top of the community, who are the top in the comments, the people who are first on our fan club, first people on our website. Remember, you're going to be the #1 fans, and we're going to have gifts for them. We're going to be giving away prizes and products because we really want those diehards, the first ones who are about the journey from the beginning. I think on a few episodes ago, you talked about how there's some people who watch a show and they want to be in it from the beginning. And then there's a group of people that really only want to come in when it's really popular. They want to jump on it when it's at its peak. So
Yes.
we're about finding the people who want to come in at the entry level and then grow with us. As we develop, they develop as fans, and who knows, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. So we were talking about war like a few episodes ago, and it was a very popular clip that we had. So I wanted to ask a question about the Native Americans, Indians, and the Aboriginals in Australia. What should they have done when the settlers from Europe arrived? Because my understanding of history, and you know, please let us know in the comments if I'm wrong, but my understanding from history is that they welcomed the settlers, and it didn't work out very well for the native people, right? Like they were kind of taken over. So now that we're a global economy and now that everything is so connected, like what should they have done? Should they have just killed the settlers when they arrived, or should they have like done what they did and everything's going to be all right because the casinos and everything?
Well, I mean, in retrospect, they definitely should have killed them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like this was their land, and people came in and took the land. Now, I'm not saying imperialism is necessarily wrong, because it's like that's kind of how the world was built, and that's why we're able to create the economies that we have, was through that greed, through that like that parasite that's inside of humans to want to just take. So their thing was they were about, and my understanding, I could be wrong, so all the people who comment, knock them, everyone, you check me. But what I'm saying is they were about using the land to its fullest. So they were about sharing. I remember learning in school that the way they would harvest and the way that they would do their cooking would be in sync with the seasons. So they never wanted to like depreciate the herds when they hunted. They didn't want to depreciate the resources. They were about the land and like basically giving that energy back to the land so that it would do better the next season, you know? And then when the Imperials came in, it was like, we're going to burn everything down. Like, we're going to destroy everything. Like, we're going to pillage your village and we're going to rape your women and children. Like, you know what I mean? They came in there just with evil, just straight up evil, and destroyed them and wanted to kill them off.
How would history remember that interaction if they had pivoted and just killed everything that arrived on the island, everything that arrived in America, like would they be the evil one? Like is there no possible way to win this game? Like whoever killed first is going to be labeled evil in the end, right? So like would the Indians and Native Americans and Aboriginals be considered evil because they're like, hey, these people arrived, they were trying to expand, and you just murdered them? Like, is there no way to win this?
I mean, I would say they would defended themselves. So like,
Yeah,
but
like, they didn't know, right? Like we didn't know that they would be like enslaved, basically.
Right. That's what the problem was. They didn't know. They didn't have, because they were so in tune with the land and doing good. They didn't have one person who was like, oh, no, maybe they did have that one person, but that one person who's like, oh, hell no. Like these people just showed up. They're done, but they should have had that mastermind. You got to have that in every camp. You got to have like the overseer who wants to do everything right, the one who has like that spiritual awareness, the person who wants to keep everything like harmonious and balanced. But then you also need the person who's ready to just like cut off heads. Like you need both. You need that general, If you don't have that general, you do get taken over. I mean, look at almost every empire that's been taken over. They've been kind of like, my understanding, more of like a laid-back empire, like where the dancing. I'm trying to think like all the empires that Rome destroyed. There was a lot that were kind of like that were into more like trading, like silks and different things like that. They weren't really about military. So when the Romans got there, it was easy for them to be like, oh yeah, we take. Like we don't need to trade with you. We take everything. This is Rome now.
So do you think they should teach like military strategy in school? Like, because okay, I'll give you where this is coming from. So I had a conversation with my aunt this weekend, and we were talking about the tree of life and how loving kindness needs to be balanced with judgment. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like there's the holistic perspective where like you're caring and you're looking out for everyone, but there's also, it needs to be balanced with judgment, or like that military mindset of like, look, this is reality and you can't just give to everyone. Like it needs to be balanced, So I literally just had this conversation. And so is that something that should be taught in school, or would that be dangerous considering all the school shootings that happen?
Well, I think, again, it's easy to misunderstand it. So if you do teach people to be kind of the person who cuts heads off, and is more aggressive at a young age, you may have more hatred moving forward. I want to say that there is somewhere in the world where the children are raised that way. They're raised with a bunch of anger and hatred. And now they're turning into adolescents. But there are some places around the world where their society is raising their children in more of a military way.
So you're talking about like terrorist places?
I am.
Okay.
And we're going to see what that means moving forward, because again, I want to say that this started in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So we're going to see kind of what they turn into, because remember, whatever they learned, they necessarily weren't activated to do anything with it, but now they're raising that next generation. So now it's going to be 2 military generations. So then we might actually see something come out of that, because it does take a little while to develop your, your training line. So that first line was probably like new at it. You know what I mean? So they were just kind of working probably on the physical and some of the brainwashing techniques. But I think the next generation that had to endure that are going to be 10 times harder on the next generation. So then when they get to that prime age, they're going to be like warriors. You know what I mean? Because now people have been disciplined prior.
Yeah.
And
like, I think that, okay, so my experience being in the Marine Corps, right? So like I had boot camp, I had, battle school, I had, war simulations. I never actually went to war. So that's why I'm like, so like we went to a comedy club, and they asked, "Are there any veterans in the room?" And like I did not want to clap because I feel like I feel a little I don't know, like a little bit like it doesn't really count unless you've been to war, you know? Like even though I did all the training and I did my service and things like that.
But you were ready to go. Like if they were
right, and they did call me, and it was during the Iraq. I was 1997, 1998. They put us on call. They said you know call home, tell them you're not going home. We're ready to go. I was in the reserves. And then they changed their mind, you know. So, so yeah, I was ready to go, but still, I'm just telling you, like, my experience is that, like, I just feel because people actually have been in war, I feel like a little bit disconnected from that experience. I'm really, really glad that I did not go to war. Like I look at, you know, veterans who have been, and the post-traumatic stress disorder is like intense, you know? So I think in these like terrorist, like communities, the stress, you know, I wonder what the life expectancy must be for these people and what the quality of life is, you know?
I mean, the quality of life, it can't be good. I mean, I'll say that right now. I mean, there's no way that they're living like a Western, you know, first world problems kind of life. I mean, they're living definitely a cave life, you know, like, you know, because if you're training people to be committed to blowing themselves up, I'm just giving it as an example. I don't know if they actually teach that, but I'm just saying if you're putting them in a mental picture where at any time you could be like, all right, go detonate. You cannot give them like social media. You can't give them junk food. Like you can't give them a bunch of women. Like you got to treat them kind of like animalistic, like bare minimum, get out in the sun, be ready, and a lot of like awakeness in their mind, like a lot of believing in you're doing this for the cause. Like if you blow yourself up, you save your life, like your family, not your life, but your like your mother or your daughter or whatever it is. There has to be like something that they're doing it for, something bigger than themselves, right? Or why would you blow yourself up? You can't just blow yourself up and have that mind state if you're going like, well, I love my life. Like, well, look, I live in this beautiful house and I go swimming every day and I go to the gym and I eat sushi. Like, how would you blow yourself up? You're like the most selfish person ever when you're taking care of yourself. They can't be selfish like that. They have to be in a mind state of like, yeah, maybe I will blow myself up. Like, anytime you need it, I'll do it for God or whoever, you know, for the king.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me of my experience of leaving boot camp is that like going in, I kind of was like ambivalent about violence and, you know, self-sacrifice. But like right after boot camp, I was like, if someone needed me to take a bullet, like I totally would do it. And if we needed to go to war, like I was ready. So like I think that like, oh, and by the way, I just want to say we're not supporting terrorism. I personally think that that's like probably one of the worst maladies that's been inflicted upon mankind. I think this idea of like suicide bombing and IEDs and everything, but like as a Marine, I was kind of like indoctrinated into this mindset of I will destroy anything you want me to. So I think that like the elders of these terrorism like communities are the ones who actually are probably more culpable than the people who perpetuate this violence. Now, I think that they're bad too, but I think the people who train them, who indoctrinate them, who create the culture, I think they're probably more culpable. And it reminds me of Charles Manson. Like Charles Manson actually didn't kill anyone himself, but because he was this like cult leader and he got people to do what he said, that's why he's in jail for life and he can't get out on these paroles because he's a very dangerous person, even though he himself didn't do anything but because he's like this leader, I think that's why he's so reviled.
Yeah, because if you're able to push people's buttons to make them do what you want for the dark side, of course it's super dangerous, because that person is able to get inside of your brain and tell you what to do and activate you in ways that they want. I mean, that's a very dangerous person. You know what I mean? So these organizations, that's what they were able to do, I think, with this first line of student. Like, you know, they have their leaders, and then they probably had their first level of student, and then taking the people who endured it, and now they're going to teach the next group. I think those are the very dangerous people. And those probably are the generals and the top people in each of these organizations. We just don't know them like by name or whatnot, but I bet you in those areas, they know them. It's almost like when you think of like drug cartels, right? You think of the leader of the drug cartel, and you go like, wow, this is a mastermind. Like, this person's able to control all of these operations, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
Cartel.
I know what you mean.
So I think it's like that.
It's like a CEO for evil.
Right, and I think that these people are just like the cartel leaders. Same exact thing, where you have your troops, you have your militia, and at any time you just go tell them what you want to do. It's like watching Batman, and you have all the bad guys and all their cronies, and they'll go do whatever they want. And unless we have an actual vigilante, or we have USA soldiers or whatever it is who are actually going to stop it, it's going to slowly infiltrate all of these poor areas. Because when you're in a poor area, what other options do you have? If that empire comes in and says, look, you're joining us, or everyone dies, of course they're joining. Or they'll say, hey, join us, we'll give you, $1,000 a day. Why not? You go kill for us, we'll pay you every day. Why wouldn't you do that as a poor person on the street? Why wouldn't you just go like, yeah, maybe I should? Because that will change your life. And if you believe that this life is it, there's no spirituality, there's nothing next, in those scenarios, why wouldn't you just do it? Because this is just like luck. Like, we all arrived here from magic. And then when we're gone, poof, it's done forever. So what I'm saying is, it's all about your mental state. If you believe, like for you, do you believe most people believe that there's something after this, or that most people believe that, hey, that's it, when you die, you cease to exist and you're done?
Yeah, so I think that most people have some view of the afterlife based on the conversations that I've had. So, like, it's reincarnation, it's heaven. There's many types of heaven. Sometimes there's like 3 heavens. We were talking about this weekend, and how Mormons believe that there's like a good, better, best heaven. Judaism believes that there's like only a heaven, and there's like different levels of heaven. Christianity has like a heaven and hell. Hinduism has reincarnation. So I think and I'm not sure what the Chinese believe, actually. I don't think that they're a monolith in the sense that the Chinese believe one thing, but I'm not sure like what the dominant.
Isn't it Buddhism? Isn't it reincarnation?
They have Buddhism, they have Taoism, they have Muslims, they have Christians. Like, it's a very diverse community. I actually don't know enough about China, and I know that China and America are like, probably the biggest competitors right now for world domination. And I think maybe I need to learn a little bit more about China. Is what I'm thinking.
Why not?
But anyways,
why not?
Yeah, to answer your question, I think that the majority of people believe in something that happens after. Some people believe that like it's like sleep, and you go to sleep, and sometimes you don't have a dream, and that's it. Like, you're totally gone. But I don't think that's the dominant belief, because like how would you like take hardship when you can just take the easy way out? I think it's very useful to have a belief in an afterlife where like you're judged in some fashion, like your actions, your choices are judged. I think that really helps to have a like a better life. I notice people who do believe in stuff like that tend to be like better actors in life, as opposed to being a bad actor.
Interesting. I would say that the people who I've known in my life who have ended up doing bad things to people, those people typically didn't believe that there's anything at all next, and there's no repercussion or consequence, and they were the first ones to get into it whenever it happened. And then I know a few that had ended up going to prison, and later on in life, they found like Jesus, and they were very sorry for the evil that they had committed, but at the time, they didn't think it was evil. They thought it was just the way that it was, you know what I mean, and what they had to do. So I think what happens is if you don't have any spiritual awakening as a young person and you don't really have any guidance, you don't really have an adult figure that you look up to, and you're just kind of raised by your group of people that you run with, I think most men in that situation, they don't really think of anything except for getting caught. Like thinking like the worst that can happen is I get caught. But they don't think that there's a consequence afterwards. They don't think like, oh, there's a hell. Oh, there's a God who's going to get me. They don't think like that. They go like, nah, like either I'm going to protect myself, I'm going to get what I need to get. Like these lions need to eat kind of thing. So like when you don't think like that, you think of yourself as a lion and you're going out to eat, and everyone else better be careful. You know what I mean?
Now, is the fact that we have like a police state contributing to that? In other words, that we have a system where if you break a law, you're punished, right? And so I think that, like, does that play into this idea that, like, if I don't get caught, then it's okay, right? Like, it's sort of like an external as opposed to an internal motivation. Is that what you're saying?
I would say for people that I know, when they did get caught, they ended up just going to see more people they knew, like more family, more friends. So getting caught doesn't necessarily do anything. It kind of just does like a family reunion. Like they get to see everyone they knew, and they actually get to move up. Like they moved up in their status. So getting caught isn't the end of the world. It's just how long you get caught for. So like if you get caught and they give you a small sentence, a lot of people kind of wear that with pride. Like I did 5 years. You know, there's a lot of people I know where 5 years, like that kind of gave them a little skin on their back, right? And they get out and they're a little tougher. But then the people who get like a 10-year or a 15-year, they're a little more humble. They're a little more careful.
Yeah.
But it just depends on your mentality. But I would say the people I knew in LA growing up who did get in trouble and did run with that group, it was like they were more about being kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like soldiers in like just whatever the nonsense was. Like if it was stealing stuff, it was selling drugs, like whatever it was, they were just the frontline person who just really wasn't scared. They weren't scared about getting robbed. They weren't scared about getting caught. They were doing everything to not get caught. But if they did get caught, as long as they didn't take anyone with them, they were all right. You know, like there was a big code of not telling on people. I mean, that ever since I've known anyone in LA, that has been the most strictest code ever.
Snitches get stitches.
Oh, worse than that. I'm just saying, like it's believe me, you don't want to tell on anyone. If someone does something to you, the best thing you could do is just take the hit and move on with your life. If you try to identify people and go after them, they do not forget.
So that's sort of weird for me as a security guard because my job is to observe and report. I'm a paid snitch.
Right.
Like that's my job. If something happens, I'm supposed to report it. I'm supposed to call the police. I'm supposed to say, hey. So like it's an interesting situation because like I do consider myself like one of the good guys, right? Like I consider myself on that side of things, and I'm protecting a community. And I'm helping the community, but like at the same time, I notice that like when we do have to call the sheriffs, the homeowners a lot of times won't press charges,
right?
Because they're afraid of retaliation. And so what you're saying rings true in my experience.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like we're older already, right? It's a lot different when you're kind of like over 40 years old. I mean, you still are a big target, but what I'm saying is, you aren't really in that same social circles anymore, right? Like we've kind of developed like you're now a family man, right? So a lot of these people, they don't worry about that. They're not really going after you or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is if you are a target and they do go after you, again, you get to decide how you handle it, right? You want to tell, you want to defend yourself, do it. I mean, why not? If you want to do it, do whatever you want to do. I'd say everyone has a different kind of way that they look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from my point of view, if it was something simple or whatever, like you said, like a homeowner, someone broke in or whatever it is, it's probably better to just let it go. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, they got a couple things, right? Then making it this big thing where now you're going to court, you're pushing charges, you're doing a citizen's arrest. All of a sudden, all the documents are coming out. They know who you are. You know who they are. Okay, so let's say they get some time. They want to maybe get revenge. So they got people who will get the revenge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know who they are and who they know. So sometimes you just got to take the lick. You know what I mean? Same thing in a car accident, I would say. Like if it's a minor bender, nothing really happens, it's not worth it. It's not worth like going through all the things. Just tell them, look, there's not a lot of damage, couple scratches. You got a couple scratches. I got a couple scratches. Let's get out of here. Then going like, oh, my back, my neck. Oh, I'm going to do a big lawsuit. Oh, I'm going to come get you. Like, there are people who do that. They go out of their way to make a huge thing out of nothing, right? They go like, I had a friend borrow a car once. He got into a car accident. I got this report from a lawyer that was like, oh, she can never have kids now because of the car accident. And they hit each other like at like a red light, like bumped into each other. Like there was like no damage. I mean, it was like very minor.
Wow.
And I'm going like, she couldn't have kids to start then. I mean, there's no way this accident took away her ability to have babies. I mean, it doesn't even make sense to me. So I know it was a money grab. Long story short, she ended up getting whatever the insurance gave her, but it didn't turn into like a big claim just because I had let him borrow the car, so he was covered under my insurance. So it all worked out in the end. Like nothing, he didn't have to pay anything extra. I didn't have to pay anything extra. Everything was fine. But there are people who do that. You see what I mean? They try to get the most that they can out of every little thing. And I'm saying that behavior isn't good for you. Like that's not good for you in general, and the person who you're up against, they may want to get revenge on you. Like if their insurance rates go up or they have to pay out of pocket, you know what I mean?
So at work, I was bitten by a dog. Okay. I went to someone's door. I was knocking to find out who a car belonged to, and I did hear the dog barking, but like it's the responsibility of owners in Los Angeles to make sure their dogs don't bite. So he opens the door and like boom, like I have a dog on me, like a German Shepherd, right, like on my stomach. So I look down, so he rips it off. And so I do a report, you know, I explained to my supervisor what happened, the HOA manager talked to him, and so everyone was asking me, are you going to sue? Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, no, because even though I did have like damage and I'll probably have a scar for a long time, I didn't want to make a big deal about it. So I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, and I've been bumped before. Like in Los Angeles, like if you haven't been bumped, you haven't been driving for a long time. Like it's just gonna happen. I've been bumped, and we just let it go. So I totally agree.
Exactly. That's the best way to do it. Just be bigger than it, and then it can't turn into like, even though it's rare for it to turn into something like that. It's just if it does, it's like, oh. Now you've really created a big mess for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
All right. So let's do a book of questions.
Excellent.
So how would you feel if you knew that within a century, intelligent machines would be self-aware and much smarter and more creative than humans, and why?
So in 100 years, how would I feel?
Yes.
Knowing.
So like you would be dead probably, unless they come up with like a way to extend life. But like the idea is that in a century, intelligent machines would be self-aware, much smarter, and more creative than humans. Would you care, or why would you feel the way you feel?
Well, I mean, I would be sad for it, because if the machines are outdoing the humans, then what has happened to humanity? Now humanity is watching basically a show of the machines, that they're doing everything better and more creative than humanity. And I think that would be sad, because that's part of what's beautiful about humans, is that we're able to create things and we're able to share it with each other. And yeah, it's not always perfect, but it's still human.
So I think I kind of look at it like the dinosaur situation, right? Like dinosaurs became birds, right? So if you see a bird, that's a former dinosaur, right? So like in the same way, I think that humans would adapt, because that's what we do. Like, you know, we move to new areas, we develop new technology, we discover the depths of the soul. Like there's so much creativity and possibility in humans. So I agree with you. There would be like a tinge of sadness, but I would have hope that the future would be navigated properly. You know, I do have faith in humanity.
Well, that's good. I mean, I do have faith in humanity, but I mean, you know, I am worried. To be honest, I have faith, but I am worried right now at you know, a lot.
At the rate of growth.
Yeah.
Of AI and machines and stuff. Like
yeah,
that.
it's just amazing, you know, to really see, like, to think, like, we live in LA, so I've heard from a lot of people that even when they call 911, 911 puts them on hold. So you have an emergency, the infrastructure is like dying out. So it's like, wow, even 911 is being like destroyed.
Yeah. I think it has to do with like okay, we have something going on in our street. We have like a tree that's creating this like huge hill in the middle of the street, and I've done like multiple requests, and the city has not even responded to me to say like, hey, this is taken care of, or we're working on it. So the 911, the trees, like I think it boils down to a management of funds and like what they consider important, because I think like in Los Angeles, like homelessness is kind of like a more pressing issue than like these other what used to be called essential services.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't believe that they didn't come to repair the street. I mean, that's causing so much damage to the suspension of like every car that goes over it. I mean, it's a huge gap. I mean,
This is John.
This is Dan.
And this has been Dead Mike Society.
If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mike Society.